What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Salty Sports Podcast. We're so excited to have you all back. In today's episode, we're going to be going over a lot more football stuff.
Make more chill.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty chill episode, though. So, Elkin, let's get right into moving the chains.
Moving the chains. Well, the first game, we're going to go actually recap the games first because, we want to get the game, then we're going to go into our picks. Then we're going to go into some football news and then end off our updated power rankings and do a lot more discussing in that section. So first of all, Los Angeles, the Rams, 24, New England 3. Cam Newton got benched for Stidham. Goff threw for 130 yards, and touchdown, interception. Newton was trash, and Akers had 171 yards rushing.
Dude, Newton threw for more than 120 yards. It's been a while since you can say that. Anyways,
he threw for 119.
Yeah, he threw for more than 100 yards. Let's move on to the next game.
Benched because he fumbled and he threw an interception. Akers, the next game is Texans Bears. Bears crushed them 36-7. I called this. You went for the Texans last game.
Yeah,
Texans
Texans just played trash.
Trubisky played well, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards. And then you had Watson threw for 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, you had David Montgomery ran for 113 yards.
Watson plays great as always, but Houston is just not good.
I think there might have actually been might have been a defensive touchdown here. I'm just going to go quick recap.
Okay. But it's all right. We can move on to the next one.
Yeah. Scoring plays. With a touchdown. David Montgomery had an 80-yard run. There's a safety. Sean Watson got safetied, and then there was a bunch of field goals. So next is Cowboys-Bungles. 37 Cowboys.
We both predicted that as well.
This. I think Brian Allen, threw for 217 yards and a touchdown. Dalton threw for 180 and 2 touchdowns.
Brandon Allen, by the way. But yeah.
Brandon. All right, Brandon. And then we had no good rushers, really.
No great passing either.
Yeah, I don't know how Dallas has that many points. From what I'm seeing, there was only 2 touchdowns thrown by Dallas and no rushing touchdowns.
Touchdowns by Elliott. There might have been. Who knows? But
or anybody else. Anybody. I'm checking. I think it was actually scoring plays. Fumble return for a 78-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
We don't need to go over all of those though. We can move into the next one.
That's it's just weird scoring. All right, next game is, let's see, it is Chiefs Dolphins 33-27. I called it to be a good game. Miami played really good. Patrick Mahomes had 2 interceptions in the first quarter. He'd had 2 all year up to this point. Mahomes threw for 3 interceptions, actually. Wow.
Throughout the entire game. 2 all year,
he threw 3 throughout the entire game. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 400 yards. Tua Tagovailoa threw for 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 300 yards.
No notable rushing.
It was a great game. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's now the leading most yards for a receiver. 130 yards.
He's a tight end. This was honestly pretty much exactly as we expected it to go. It was a close, well-fought game between 2 of the top teams in the AFC, and the Chiefs coming out on top. Mahomes didn't do as well as he has been competing for MVP.
Two of his interceptions were tipped in the first quarter. Both of them were tipped.
Yeah, but still.
And it wasn't a bad decision either. He played great again, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just ran for a few yards too. The interceptions were not his fault, but Miami, they were absolutely playing on top of their game, and I think I said this game was gonna be good. Next is Cardinals Giants. Cardinals 26-7. Noteworthy stats. We have Daniel Jones threw for 120 yards. Kyler Murray 240 and 1 touchdown. Kenyon 8 yards rushing. That's pretty much all that's noteworthy of this game.
Yeah, well, D-Hop got 140 yards, which is good to see him getting catches again. Vikings Bucks.
Next we have Vikings Bucks 26 to 14. Cousins 225 yards, a touchdown. Brady 196 and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. That pretty much was a noteworthy thing. It's about as you'd expect between these two teams.
Yeah, the Tampa just played.
We have Broncos Panthers. This was
wait. First, I want to say real quick.
Carolina to win.
The Bucks Vikings. It went, I think, a little differently from we expected. If I remember last week, we thought it would be closer, but the Vikings obviously, the Bucks obviously dominated.
Yeah. It was about it was 26 to I think 18. It was about as I
26 to 14. Actually. Vikings 14, Vikings missed a ton of field goals too, though.
Yeah, it was what I'd expect, honestly. Then
I expected a little better out of the Vikings, but yeah.
Broncos Panthers 32 to 27 Broncos. I expected the Panthers to win. It was a really high scoring game. Bridgewater 280 yards. Drew Lock threw for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns, and then Mike Davis ran in for 2 touchdowns, and that's pretty much
Hamler caught 2 touchdowns on the receiving end for Denver. But
what college did Hamler go to?
I'm not sure. But this game went pretty similarly to how we predicted. We both picked the Panthers for this one, and
it was a really high scoring game.
Right, we knew it would be a similar, different, like a similar range of how much a team would win by. It would be a fairly close game, and that's pretty much what it was. Panthers just can't beat the Broncos.
And the next game is the Titans Jaguars. Titans 31, Jaguars 10, closer than you'd expect. Honestly,
I thought it would be
Minshew threw for 180 yards and 1 touchdown. Glennon threw for 85 yards. Tannehill threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Honestly, Henry deserves MVP just as much as any of the quarterbacks or the front runners, but because he's not a quarterback, it's just not gonna happen for him. But AJ Brown also 112 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. That game went essentially exactly how we had expected it to go.
Then we had Indianapolis Colts, Vegas Raiders, 44 to 27 Colts. I actually predicted Raiders to win, but I
knew the Colts were gonna kind of take over, and their defense played up. And the Raiders defense. Sure. Go ahead.
Carr threw for 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Then you had what's his name? Phillip Rivers threw for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, the running back, I believe he just got drafted out of Wisconsin. And he ran for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 62-yard run. And Derek Carr ran in for a touchdown. But other than that, it was a really pretty high scoring game. Not too much noteworthy other than that. T.Y. Hilton caught 2 touchdowns.
Nice, yeah. And so that kind of went how I expected. The Raiders, we can get to more news later, but the Raiders defense was just it hasn't been good. As we've seen throughout many games, it just has not been good. But do you want to move on?
Jets, Seahawks. This was actually, I expected it to be a bit closer, honestly. I genuinely expected it to be closer.
This shocked me. I honestly thought that they were going to win this game.
The most surprising stat, I genuinely thought the Jets would actually put up a few touchdowns.
Yeah, I did think they might.
But Seattle scored what you'd expect. Wilson threw for 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Grant Smith, I think it's Grant Smith. Geno Smith, I don't know why he came in, but he threw for Geno Smith 33 yards.
Oh, they might have won.
Darnold 130 yards. Wilson 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not too much noteworthy when it comes to anything really else.
The Jets scored a field goal in the first 5 minutes of the game and didn't score at all after that.
Then we have Packers Lions. This was about actually right what you'd expect for a game.
Yeah, this was pretty much.
Stafford 240 yards, a touchdown. Still one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. You have Chase Daniel, I think. He threw 6 passes, 3 of them completed for 29 yards. Aaron Rodgers 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. No long rushes. That's pretty much it, actually. Devontae Adams had 115 yards.
15 yards and a touchdown,
Valdez-Scantling,
But this went pretty much just how we would expect.
Good game.
It's good.
And then the next game I'm gonna go pretty deep into Saints Eagles. The Eagles won 24-21. Saints, of course, had that absolute garbage time touchdown with a minute and a half left to make it a lot closer than it should have been. Saints had not allowed an 100-yard rusher in 55 games. That's the longest streak in the NFL. The Eagles had 2 100-yard rushers against, I think it's the best defense in the NFL. Let's go over the stats quickly. Taysom Hill threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jalen Hurts threw for 170 yards and a touchdown. Miles Sanders absolutely shat on the Saints, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, had an 80-yard rush at one point. Jalen Hurts had 18 rushes for 100 yards. The Eagles, they played really good, and they stopped handing the ball off to Miles Sanders after the first half, which was a mistake, especially with he's a top 10 running back in the league. He's got the most yards per carry since 2019. I think actually ahead of Nick Chubb now. But they need to hand him the ball more, and they cannot get away from that because that worked. And against one of the best teams in the league, they beat them handedly.
Definitely. Yeah, they played a very dominant game. I'm glad that they finally put Hurts in, and it kind of showed that he's able to connect.
Yeah, Wentz had 580 yards and 9 touchdowns, along with 16 interceptions and 10 fumbles.
Yeah.
Next game, Falcons.
It showed. Let me really quick. Let me really quick on the Saints Eagles. Yeah, it shows that Hurts just connects with the team, and this season is playing a lot better.
He ran the ball a lot, which he ran the ball more than Miles Sanders, 18 times.
I think it works better with your team's scheme than how Carson Wentz was playing.
Yeah, he's like Lamar Jackson in a way.
Yeah,
He's a lot like him.
That definitely helps you guys. Next one, Falcons Chargers. I'll recap this real quick. Yeah. Chargers won 20-17. Herbert threw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Matt Ryan threw for 225 yards, a touchdown and 3 interceptions.
Is that Russell Gage? Yes, Russell Gage threw for a touchdown. 1 pass for 39 yards. Good on him.
Ridley also got 124 yards and a touchdown. Overall, this game was somewhat what we expected. I expected the Falcons to win it, but the way it was played, right? The way it was played, I expected one of the teams. Yeah, me neither.
I personally did not watch it.
The way it played out was exactly how we expected it to play out. But we both just disagreed on who the opponent would be that would win. And
I said they could go either way, but I kind of expected the Falcons to win, but I picked Falcons actually.
Last video you picked Chargers, but it's okay.
Oh no, I picked Falcons. I was wrong though.
Right. In the last video,
Niners.
But
Niners.
Okay,
Redskins,
let me. Can I?
Yeah, I picked the Redskins. Why don't you go into it?
Okay, Niners Redskins. Redskins won 23-15. Niners. Nick Mullins had 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Alex Smith had under 60 yards and an interception. Ayuk got 120 yards. Honestly, let me go into this for a minute. Yeah. This game really showed how absolutely garbage Nick Mullins can play. How that he isn't even as a backup quarterback.
Yards. 250 yards. He's a backup quarterback, but
he's not a good one.
I think that between you and I, let's get to more discussing of this.
Okay. But it showed that he fumbled the ball how many times? 2 of those at least resulted in defensive touchdowns.
Fumbles. He fumbled the ball once, and Jared Wilson, I think that is Jeff Wilson Jr. Fumbled once. Yeah.
Oh, Chase Young. Right. Chase Young had his first ever defensive return for a touchdown.
57 yards.
Yeah. The Niners showed that they really need Garoppolo back or in another quarterback who can really play for them.
Montez Sweat's still playing good. I think he's actually deserving of a Pro Bowl, maybe even over Chase Young, because Montez Sweat, he gets his hands up there. You think he tipped the ball, 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times against the Steelers, and that's really what actually helped him win the game. He honestly deserves a Pro Bowl, and I think we're going to discuss that later.
Yeah. But I think the Niners, their defense actually played well this game. They didn't allow they allowed 3 field goals, and that's it. Given Washington doesn't have a good offense, their Niners defense still played well. It's just their offense.
Ran for 3 idea, but I didn't watch too much of this game. But this game's closer than actually it wasn't as close as the box score shows.
Well, it was in a way. It wasn't a way. It wasn't. The Niners had
I believe you guys got a garbage time touchdown.
No, we got a touchdown with 10 minutes left. And then the Niners had
you guys.
Their defense outplayed our offense. Is what it was.
Yeah.
But Niners had 3, I think, opportunities to score when they were down by 8. With under 10 minutes left, they had 3 opportunities to score. A touchdown and 2-point conversion would have tied the game. 3 opportunities, and they could not capitalize on any of them.
Yeah.
There were unlucky. There was a call. It wasn't even unlucky. It was just bad. There was a call.
All right, we're gonna go on to the next game.
Well, let me finish this. A call against Mike McGlinchey for holding or something after the Niners were about to. They just scored a touchdown or gotten a big gain or something. I forget exactly what it was. Holding call against him. They got called back, and then it ended up being a punt. So that really sucked for them. But their offense just needs to. They need to heal.
Mullins, he's not bad. He's good at throwing yards. It's also the fact that the defense of Washington's really
Redskins
good.
has a top 5 defense.
I think when we're gonna move on to Steelers Bills,
yeah.
We got Steelers Bills. Bills 126-15. I predicted this. I believe
this is exactly what we both predicted.
Yeah, Josh Allen threw for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. One of which actually, I gotta say this. While he threw the last pick, let me see who got. I don't remember who got that. The pick was by. Give me a second.
Go over some others real quick.
Wallace.
Nice.
It was by Wallace. I think
okay.
He essentially when he caught the ball, it was on a deep ball throw. The entire sideline was something crazy. It was really fun to watch. Juju caught a touchdown. Diggs caught 130
yards and a touchdown. Yeah, this went exactly how I expected. I think you expected the same.
I said, Steelers are not as good as a team as people have been making them out to be.
No, people have been making them out to be bad. But
the entire year I was saying that they're not a top 5 team.
People are saying that people have been saying for a while they're not as good as what their record shows, and I agreed. I had them at number 1 at first because.
We
know how bad they played.
The Eagles, when they played the Eagles, was 38-29. The game was closer than that. It came down to the last
came down to Chase Claypool scoring 4 touchdowns on you guys.
Yeah, it's I don't even remember him playing now. I think they threw him. They gave him 2 slants and they handed him the ball once. But the point was that game was not that close, and it was against an extremely injured Eagles team. But yeah, that's basically the point. And then we have
the Steelers. The Bills just played well.
The Bills have been good. The Bills have been really good. And then we have Ravens Browns. This is the game of the year, I think. This and maybe the Seattle Arizona game.
This is definitely top 3 games of the year because it went almost as exactly as we would have predicted. I just chose the Browns to win in the shootout.
I chose the Ravens,
just like you chose the Ravens.
Yeah, but I want to go into more detail on this. Marquise Hollywood Brown. How can you drop the ball 4 times in 1 game? It was the worst thing I've seen. It's he gave up McSorley a touchdown. McSorley would have had a touchdown, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
If he hadn't dropped the ball. There was so many times he dropped the ball. But then he caught it. Dude. But then he caught it when they needed him at the end when Lamar Jackson came back in because he just had COVID. He was injured. He had to come in after McSorley get injured, run from the locker room. First play, 4th down, 4th and 6, throw it to Hollywood Brown for a 40-something yard touchdown. Great game. I think the Browns then went up.
Browns so Ravens were up. Browns came back 2 touchdowns in a row, tied it. Or actually, Browns came back 2 touchdowns in a row.
The girlfriend beater got 77 yards and a touchdown mark. Yeah.
Nice. Then Nick Baltimore went up again.
Yards,
and then the Browns got up again. And then, then let's see. It was just a fantastic game from both sides. I think Baker Mayfield is definitely NFL
go into some
ready.
More story.
I think
NFL ready. He's been in the NFL for
not NFL ready.
As they said,
NFL
since they got the
quality.
As they said, since they got the new offensive coordinator, he was the quarterback coach in Green Bay, I believe. something. I don't remember. Alex Van Pelt. No, that's not.
I
it.
think
But,
what I meant to say is
Baker
Mayfield
been
is
doing that hard
NFL
count.
quality now.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has been for a while, but he's still maybe not first overall pick, but worthy. But he's good. And as I said, they've been working on that hard count with him, making sure
Cleveland
that he's
yeah.
getting rid of he holds onto the ball longer than any quarterback in the NFL. That's a real issue, especially since the receivers are not.
Yeah.
I guess they're not getting open, but
yeah. Also,
Cody Parkey, the God,
needs to go.
The God. He made a Pro Bowl with the Eagles when he played for the Eagles. Not when he played for the Bears, but also played for the Eagles when he played for the actual Eagles. He made a Pro Bowl. It wasn't that he was bad. It's just that he's not a top 16 kicker, and there's always other kickers to replace him.
Yeah.
But Justin Tucker. Remember when he had that PAT blocked?
Yes. But he is definitely the best kicker in the league, or in my opinion.
No.
He has the highest percentage of field goals.
He's good. He's a good kicker.
Ever.
I remember I remember.
Also,
when we had that safe. Don't you dare do. Damn it! I'm saving it for the Pro Bowl video next week.
Okay. You can bring that up again. But don't you dare. Okay, that's going in the highlights for season 1.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right,
let's go to.
Wait. What about that last play?
Oh yeah, a bunch of lateral. That was really entertaining.
That was like 8 laterals, and
then he got.
It was still working. At one point I thought they were gonna break him for the distance, but then.
Yeah, he almost did a couple times when they ladded it back, but
But continuing, I think it was this 25 years ago. I personally remember because I was alive then when Art Modell left, took the Cleveland Browns and brought him to Baltimore to become the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland was heartbroken, I believe. Well, I was there obviously, but
and then they got the 0-16 team back.
And wait a second. Then Baltimore Ravens, 2 years after moving, they won a Super Bowl. Then again in 2012, they won another Super Bowl. Cleveland has not been to the playoffs since before they became the Ravens. 25 years. Haven't had a winning season since 2005. Now they were playing against Baltimore and had a chance to make the playoffs, not clinch, but make the playoffs tonight. Mostly guaranteed that they make the playoffs, and
they are mostly guaranteed.
Former team in their home stadium, but isn't that heartbreaking that they couldn't even have fans?
I know. At this point, they're most likely to, but
yeah.
Okay, next week's games.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say something before I forget. The best referee in the NFL, Jerome Boger, by far the best referee.
Nice.
And
okay,
he's been doing this for 15 years. I've never once seen him make a bad call.
I know. We don't need to get into best referee. Do that for your Pro Bowl picks.
But honestly, okay.
I know, but we need to keep moving. Okay, let's get into next week's games. So first off, we've got Raiders, Chargers. I think both of us picked the Raiders.
Yes,
they're just a better team, but
Chargers could win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers.
I wouldn't count the Chargers out, but I think the Raiders are going to win.
Why don't you lead for this part?
Next, we have the Bills versus Broncos. The Bills have just been so dominant recently, and Broncos are the Broncos. I think that's probably enough said.
I only put 1 on the Raiders.
Yeah, that's why I put a low amount on that. Next is the Packers Carolina. It's essentially the same situation as that last one. It's essentially the same as that last one with the Bills, Broncos, Packers, Panthers. Panthers are just not been playing well, not doing good. Packers have been. They're just a really good team. Packers.
What do we have next game?
Is the
Colts.
Yeah.
Remember the last game? It came down to the last play when Deshaun Watson fumbled on the goal line.
Texans.
And
I think the Colts are the better team.
6. Yeah,
Colts are definitely the better team.
The last game was really close that they played. Remember, it came down to the last play.
I said that the Texans are not as bad as like you might think they are, as their record shows. Because with Deshaun Watson, they can play football. They can beat good teams. If it's just they're not as bad as their record shows.
Yeah, I gotta say something funny, but from yesterday that I wanted to point out. Yesterday I noticed that the Ravens were 3-point favorites. However, ESPN gave Cleveland a 66% chance of winning. So
sometimes that happens, yeah. But yeah, for that one, Colts. But again, look out for the upset because the Texans might be able to do something.
Right. Tennessee Titans, Detroit Lions. I actually think that Detroit may win this game. I'm calling it out here. I think Detroit actually might win this game.
I went for the heavily disagree
Titans.
with you there.
I went for the Titans, but I think that the Detroit might actually win.
I heavily disagree. I think looking at the way
don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them.
No, of course not. Never sleep on Detroit. You know, look at how they played last week against Green Bay, dude. Top 10 team. No, the way that the Titans played. The past few weeks, and the way that the Titans played last week, especially, and the way that the Lions played last week, especially, really shows where they are at this point. I think both those games, completely show what both of the teams are like. And I think that shows that the Titans are just much
honestly better. Titans are definitely a top 5 team. However,
Titans,
I really wouldn't count out the Lions here. I think I'm putting one of my upset cards on this. I think that Lions might actually upset the Titans and win it.
Upset card, is that like your white privilege card?
No, then the upset card wouldn't exist.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Patriots versus Dolphins. This one, for the first time in years, I'm going to be selecting the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they
don't sleep
really
on them
well.
Patriots, though. Don't sleep on them Patriots. You got the apple.
Count out a Bill Belichick team. Never count out a Bill Belichick team. They can always do something. They can always be good. Pull something out of their but the Dolphins played really, really well last week against the number 1 team in the league, and I think that they're definitely going to win this game against the Patriots. Don't count out the Patriots, but I think it's the Dolphins win. Next, I have the Bears versus Vikings.
Whoa, yeah, 6 and 7. Bears,
Vikings.
You're looking at a different thing.
We're looking at different ones, but Bears, Vikings.
I'm on gridiron. Yeah,
I picked the Vikings. Bears. They're the same record. I don't think the Bears are as good as or deserving of their record. They just snapped their losing streak by getting a win over the Texans.
But the Bears have a great front seven.
They have a good defense. They
have a great front seven. They use Matt Nagy's an offensive genius, but since they lost Vic Fangio to the Broncos, their defense hasn't been as good, but they still have an amazing front seven. Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, what's the defensive tackle? I don't remember the defensive. Rashawn Gary, I think, actually.
Yeah.
But I think that the Bears are going to win this game if they can stop Dalvin Cook. That's all they need to do.
If they could stop Dalvin Cook, yes, but I don't think they can, which is why I picked Minnesota. I think Minnesota's just played better, has a better quarterback. Mitch Trubisky actually played really well last week, but I think
he's Mitch Trubisky.
He played better than Mahomes and then Watson last week.
Mahomes, what do you mean? No, he didn't.
He didn't throw 3 interceptions. He didn't throw 3 interceptions.
2 of those interceptions were picks. What are you on? Daniel, what are you on?
Yards.
What is that to the left of you on your desk next to the blue speaker? What is that there? Is that some crystal?
Pokemon cards?
No, crystal meth right there in that bottle. You hidden it?
This is my
Damn, you're on something.
Kiwi strawberry sparkling soda.
Nah, you're definitely on something. No, you're definitely on something.
Last week he played better
Mitch Trubisky is the worst quarterback in NFL. He is awful. He played good last week, but Mahomes still played better than Mahomes had 400 yards.
Eagles fan. Says that you can't talk. Shut up, Carson Wentz fan.
No, okay. Carson Wentz is significantly better than Mitchell Trubisky.
Not this year. Better. Not this year. Most years, but not this year.
Oh yes,
not
Mitchell Trubisky is the worst quarterback in the
NFL. I'm sorry. No, not this year. You can't talk like that.
Trubisky is god awful. No. Wentz has little spurts. Wentz has little things where you see how good he is, but then he go back to being bad. Where Trubisky, you never see those.
Yes, he did. Did you not see him last week?
Never see.
He played statistically better than Mahomes and Watson.
Statistically, but not.
And if you watched it, it looked a lot better as well.
Trubisky is an awful quarterback. He's so bad.
Is not, bro. You talking about? You can't say that, Eagles fan. I know I have Nick Mullins as my starting quarterback, but you can't say that, Eagles fan.
He might be better than Garoppolo's pretty bad though. You guys might have to trade. No,
Garoppolo's not. Garoppolo has shown what he can do with all of the weapons that he has when he's healthy.
Yes, but then so is Wentz. So Garoppolo has not been good, even when he was fully healthy.
Wentz is healthy this year, and
he hasn't. He's not
this
healthy.
year.
He forgot how to throw the ball away.
No, this year he was healthy. I don't know what you're saying.
No, he wasn't fully healthy. He had a concussion last year.
He was healthy this year.
At the end of the season, I think in one of the last few games, Wentz got a concussion.
He was healthier this year.
Hasn't been the same since then. Since Wentz got that concussion, he hasn't been the same. But yeah, next we have.
My dog is barking. Okay, whatever. We got off track.
I have Seattle. I'm gonna go get Benny. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get Benny.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. I'll talk about Seattle versus Washington, because you probably don't really care about that. Seattle versus Washington. I think both of us went with Seattle just because they're the better team. They've been playing a lot better. Even though they haven't been playing great and their defense is not great, Washington doesn't have an offense, so Seattle's defense can still stop them. Seattle does have an amazing offense. Washington does have an amazing defense, so that'll be really entertaining to watch, see how those two really good parts of the teams play against each other. But overall, I think that Russell Wilson, Carson, and Metcalf are all just completely dominant and will be able to overpower the Washington defense. So that's why we both picked Seattle. Moving on to the next game, we've got the Jaguars versus the Ravens. I don't really think I have to go on much about this. I picked the Ravens just because look at how they played last week. If they return to that form, their 2019 form, they're going to keep playing that way. They're going to do really, really well. Obviously, we can never count Jacksonville out. Jacksonville's put up a tough fight against a lot of the teams they faced. But Baltimore is who we both picked for that.
Right, yeah.
Then after that,
have you gone over?
I went over the Seahawks, Washington, and the Jags versus Ravens. That means that we're on to the Bucks, Falcons. Did we talk about the Bucks? Have we talked about the Bucks and the Falcons yet? I don't think we have.
So what games have you talked about?
I talked about the Seahawks, Washington, and Jags, Ravens. Bucks, Falcons is next. So, I picked the Bucks. I think that I know what you're going to say about this, but I definitely think the Bucks are a much better team. And
I went with
looking
the Bucks
at the way
heavily.
Looking at the way that you said earlier, you might pick this as a possible upset, but I think look at the way Matt Ryan played last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to put anything like that. I think that I do think that the Bucks are going to win.
Okay, that's earlier you said it was being upset, and I'm like, what? Did you see Matt Ryan play last week? Like, Benny is so cute, dude. I'm literally gonna die.
Yeah, her name's Benny, also known as Benny.
Okay, so
she's 4 months old. She's cute. All right, we have.
I've got next on mine the Jets Rams.
Cowboys.
Oh well, okay, yeah. Niners Cowboys. So I picked the Niners. Niners are bad. Cowboys are worse. The
Niners are a bad team, but the Cowboys are definitely worse than the Niners. However, you guys do have Nick Mullins, so don't count out the red rifle.
Nick Mullins against the Cowboys defense doesn't sound
red rifle.
So then we've got the Jets Rams.
Jets Rams. We both went with the Rams heavily.
It's kind of obvious.
Don't count out those Jets though. No, this is being serious. This is being serious. I wouldn't count out the Jets. Jets are not the worst team in the league. The Jaguars are.
The Jaguars put up a fight against good teams.
So did the Jets. They should be two. The Jets should be 2-11.
Who
I think the Raiders. They should have won against the Raiders, and there was another team they should have won against. I'm trying to remember.
Did you see them play the Seahawks last week? I'm sorry. Did you see them play the Seahawks last week? Did you see the final score of that?
40-3. I expected it to be a bit more, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I would say yes. Count the Jets out. Next is the Eagles Cardinals. I'm sure I'll let you go on. I won't say anything.
This is where my other upset card is. I think that the Eagles could actually win this game. I picked the Cardinals, but I think the Eagles could actually win this game because if you're looking at it the right way, then the Cardinals are. I don't think they're that good of a run defense. I think they're bottom half of the league when it comes to run defense. And the Eagles, if they hand the ball off to Miles Sanders, they have a pretty good chance of winning. Cardinals are 6-point favorites, but I think the Eagles could win this game. I genuinely
think the Eagles could win this game.
I genuinely do. I'm hoping they don't as an Eagles thing because we need a higher pick.
If Sanders if Sanders is able to run through the Cardinals,
Miles Sanders plays like the top 5 running back that he is.
He's not a top 5 running back.
He has the most yards per carry since 2019.
Go off.
Since he's been in the league.
If Jalen Hurts plays like he did last week, then yes, I think that the Eagles might be able to pull off the upset in Arizona. Now, if he plays anything less than what he played last week, no, the Eagles are not going to. It comes down to Hurts on this, honestly. It's because he played a really good game.
In our secondary because they have DeAndre Hopkins. I didn't think about that. DeAndre Hopkins and
versus your secondary.
Which we had 3 players in 2 plays: Rodney McLeod, Avonte Maddox, and Darius Slay. So we're gonna get crushed.
Their offense is going to dominate you guys. Now it all comes down to if your offense can show up or not.
If we can injure Kyler Murray, we just gotta injure Murray.
I like Murray. He's a good guy. My uncle once met him.
Yeah, I know. Kyler Murray said
no. Okay. No, yeah, he's good. He's a great guy. Apparently, my uncle tells me so.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my uncle's met him. If Hurts plays like he did last week,
I bet there's people who met the people who have assassinated presidents and said they're nice people before.
My uncle's met.
I'm not comparing him.
Okay, buddy. My uncle's met like a bunch of famous people and sports players and stuff because he works in Hollywood. But yeah, I think unless Hurts plays like just as good as he does last week. If Hurts plays just how he did last week, then yes, you guys have a chance of beating them. If not, then that's going to be a no for me, Chief.
By the way, Daniel, I got a joke about the Eagles.
Sure.
Right, I'm going to tell this. So
the Eagles?
The other day, funny, no. Today, I was looking for my Philly jersey, and I just couldn't find it. Then once I found it, I just couldn't help to laugh at where it went. Please cut that out. Please cut that out.
That's staying in, and that's going to bloopers. But yeah. Okay, next is the Rams Seahawks. Wait, is that this?
That's not an actual
this week.
Game.
No, that's next week. My bad.
Wait, we have Browns. We have Kansas City against the Saints.
KC for this one for obvious reasons. The Saints defense didn't show up last week. I doubt they'll do it against a number 1 offense in the league. Mahomes did do great last week, but I think that
Mahomes did not play badly last week. He had 2 tip passes for interception. He still threw for 400
yards. They
are
still interceptions, and that's not just on him. That's the team. Allowing those interceptions is on the team, and it's a team game.
Right. However, Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. Just
at this point, yes. I still think that the Chiefs
in the NFL.
Yeah. How could you say that? I thought Sanders was the best one in the okay, next Cleveland versus the Giants. Cleveland versus the Giants. Cleveland. Look at how they played last week.
I actually went for Giants initially, but
yeah.
We still have power rankings too. Let's get through this.
Yeah, I know. Cleveland, look at how they played last week. Look at how the Giants played last week. Finally, we've got the Steelers versus the Bungles.
Cincinnati.
Steelers, I don't think we have to say much more about it. And now, on to everyone's favorite segment, or your favorite segment, at least because you spend hours a week working on it.
I do spend hours a week working on that. Give me a second. I gotta pull it up.
Okay. I will let you go over your top 10.
I'm good at getting things up pretty quickly.
I will say go over your top 10. I'll say anywhere that I highly disagree.
Yeah, Daniel, I'm good at getting things up quickly, as you can attest to.
Go over your top 10 though.
Week 15. Give me a second. I have I cannot see. Week 15 power rankings. This is before the week started. This episode is being recorded on Tuesday, December 15th.
You don't need to say this. They know it's
I know. Kansas City, number 1. Number 2, Green Bay. Then Buffalo, Tennessee, New Orleans, Miami, Baltimore at number 7. Pittsburgh at number 8. Rams at 9. Browns at 10.
Okay. So let me say, first of all, I think you have
messed up.
It is?
You sound like Darth Vader.
Is this better? Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
I think you have the Dolphins way too high. I think they're top 10
barely top 10 though. Not.
I can agree with
6.
that. I can agree with that.
And I
However,
think you have the Rams
I just
way
feel like
too
they're
high.
better than the teams below them. I just feel like
I
they're
think
better
the
than all
Rams are
teams
better
below
than the
them.
Dolphins. I would personally switch the Rams and the Dolphins. I think that might be close to what I do.
Yeah, I
I
don't
also
disagree
think
with that, but I'm
you
still
have
going to
the
keep the Rams
Ravens.
higher up.
I also think you have the Ravens way too high.
They're a good team.
They
I had them
showed
at
up
16
last week. They showed up last week. That was it, and you moved them all the way up. How much did you move?
I moved them up to 7 because
9.
Lamar Jackson. I was right when I talked about the power rankings last week because they were not as good of a team. Let me explain. Because when they were 16th, they were playing the Cowboys, and just in general, Lamar Jackson wasn't healthy, so they were a number 16 team right then. However, now since Lamar Jackson's healthy, they're number 7. I
still don't think they're number 7. Give Lamar a few more weeks of solid games, a couple more weeks of solid games, then they'll be back up there.
He played amazing. However, they got to stop dropping balls.
He played like
Hollywood.
half a quarter. But yeah. Okay, I'll go over my top 10 now.
Lamar Jackson played 3.5 quarters.
Okay, wait. Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't pass that much though. Well, he's running.
He didn't need to. He also had people who kept dropping the ball. But once he threw to Mark Andrews, I think they finally got back.
He played like but honestly, he played like a quarter of football. He played like a quarter of MVP football. A quarter of MVP
he
football.
Played like he did.
The rest of the game was average. A quarter of the game he played like MVP Lamar. The rest of it he played average. Is what I think.
Go over your top 10.
Okay, my top 10. I have Kansas City staying where they were. Green Bay up 1, Buffalo up 1, Los Angeles up 5, New Orleans down 3, Tennessee down.
Don't go over what your rankings are from last week. Can you just go over order 1 to 10?
Number 1 Chiefs, number 2 Packers, number 3 Bills, number 4 Rams, number 5 Saints, number 6 Titans, number 7 Steelers, number 8 Dolphins, number 9 Browns, number 10 Colts. Okay, let me go.
You have the Rams at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
You must be joking.
They're better than the teams below them.
They're not better than the Titans.
Okay, that's one where I can on any. Here's one. On any given week, both of those teams are interchangeable. Hear me out.
Yes,
because
the issue with the Rams, Daniel, is that when the teams find the right formula, they'll beat them.
Guaranteed. Right, but the Titans have weeks where they just don't look good at all.
Yes, but the Rams, they've had weeks where they look even worse. I think I have the Rams personally at number 9.
Those two, I think that the Titans and Rams, those two are interchangeable week to week. I think New Orleans, I had New Orleans at number 2 last week, which I think they were until they got exposed.
You are wrong.
Last week, I had them at number 2, but they got exposed. I still think they're good. They're top 5.
The Steelers, I had at number 7 last week. This week I have at number 8.
I have Steelers at number 7 this week because, I saw the loss coming. We all saw it coming to the Bills.
But then that loss shouldn't change anything if we saw it coming.
Right. So I have.
I only lowered him down 1 because I
lowered him down 2. Because
I only lowered them down 1 because I
have the
Ravens up
way too high after playing.
The Ravens are one of the best defenses in the league.
After playing this week, just after that.
No, the only reason I raised them up that much was because last week they were not as good of a team because Lamar Jackson was not healthy. That's why.
I still highly disagree.
Because if Lamar Jackson was healthy last week, I would have had him here too. They're a better team.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I'll go over my
next 10. I don't really think we have to go over because there's not much to. There's not very. Except the only thing I disagree with is San Francisco being and.
Okay. No. Just go through your 10 real quick, and then I'll go through mine.
No, now she's sleeping.
Okay, I'll just go through your 10. You've got the Seahawks at 11, Colts 12, Tampa 13, Arizona 14, Las Vegas 15, Patriots 16, Bears 17, Vikings 18, football team 19, and Giants at 20. There are a few places where I disagree. I think you have the Colts a little too low. I think they're a top 10 team, but again, I
agree with that. That's what I said. I'm gonna talk about, but from about 6 all the way down to 12. Honestly, you could organize any of those teams however you want, and I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, honestly, those are very, very changeable.
And it really wouldn't matter to me. Like the Colts, I personally think Seattle.
You have the Patriots way too high. Well, all the teams below them are kind of changeable, but
I think the Patriots are right where they belong.
I think that the Bears, Vikings, and football teams at this point are better than them. I think the Patriots.
No, I think the Patriots are right where they belong.
Okay, I can respect that, but still, I don't think so. My next 10 are the 11 Cardinals, 12 Ravens, 13 Seahawks, 14 Bucks, 15 Raiders, 16 football teams, 17 Bears, 18 Vikings, 19 Patriots, and 20 Niners. Now, let me explain. So
Niners should not be at 20. They should be at least 25 or below.
Let me explain some stuff. So first of all, I have the Ravens at 12 because I don't think they're a top 10 team yet. If they keep playing how they did last game, yes, they'll be a top 10 team next week. But just that game that they played doesn't make them a top 10 team after the past few weeks of how they've been playing. Then I think the football team, the Bears, and the Vikings are all better than the Patriots. Now, on any given week, that's interchangeable, but I think the Patriots just got absolutely annihilated by the Rams.
Yeah, I agree that the Patriots should be right around there. I think 7. Yeah, but however, having the Niners at 20 is way too high.
Let me explain. I have them there because they're not a good team. They're not deserving of the 20. It's just that all the teams below them are even worse to the point where the Niners.
That is not true. The Eagles are not. No. I'm going to say this: the Eagles are better than the Niners.
The Niners are better
head to head.
They
beat the Niners head to head. They beat the Niners head to head, and the Eagles just beat a top 5 team.
I'm going to say this: at this point in the season, I think that the Niners are better. We were a lot more injured when we played you guys.
No, that's not true. We had a guy named Travis Fulgham catch a touchdown pass to win us the game. We beat you head to head. When we were just as injured as you.
We didn't have a lot of the players that we had back this week. You know, Mostert, Samuel, Ayuk. There are a ton more on defense as well who were like starting to slowly get back.
Now than you guys. We had no players injured. However, you guys are also
we are a better team.
Too high.
We'll go over those next. The Niners are a better team than you guys, and they're better than that. They're better than the Texans. Here, I'll just go through my next 10 to tell you guys. I have 21 Texans, 22 Chargers, 23 Giants, 24 Eagles, 25 Lions, 26 Falcons, 27 Panthers, 28 Broncos, Cowboys, Bengals, Jags, and Jets.
I have my next 12 as Broncos, 21 Eagles, 22 Lions, 23 Niners, 24 Panthers, 25 Chargers, 26 Falcons, 27 Cowboys, 28 Texans, 29 Bengals, 30 Jaguars, 31 Tank for Trevor, 32.
Some of mine are messed up. I think I should have. I meant to put the Broncos at 27, Panthers at 28. But I think the Niners are better at this point in the season, and at all those teams' points in the season, the Niners are a better team. The Eagles beat the Saints. I think now if Hurts plays next week like the way he did this week, then yes, the Eagles are going to be higher than the Niners next week. But this 1 week where he came in and he played really well, I still think the Niners are better. The Niners beat the Rams twice. They've held it really close against other good teams. Well, not really close, somewhat close in good games. All right, yeah. I honestly think at this point in all of their seasons, the Niners are a better team than all of the ones below them.
Daniel,
and that's the only reason.
It's not all of the seasons. Yes, when healthy, they're a top 10 team.
No.
However, they are not healthy.
Not that. I know if they're healthy, they're a top 10 team easily.
I believe they are right where they belong.
I'm saying at this point, I'm sorry, my dog is
barking. The Eagles are definitely better than the Niners. The proof of that, they beat them head to head.
That was when we were more injured. I'm saying at this point in the season.
Daniel,
yes,
we also have Nick Mullins.
A top 5 team. Yes, I know. You guys just put out Hurts. If he plays as good as he did, or even comparable to that, you don't understand.
It's not the point. The point is we are a better team than you.
I know. At this point, you are not.
You're being very biased.
You are too.
No, I'm not. I put him below all. You know how hard it is for me to put them directly below the Giants and the football team?
No.
I put him below the Daniel. You guys are not as good of a team.
We are a better team than you.
No, you are not. We beat you guys.
That was when we were more injured. That was when we were more injured.
You want to know who caught the touchdown pass to win the game? A guy named Travis Fulgham.
I don't even know. You said. I know. I don't really care.
Practice squad players playing. We had
Yeah, we have more.
Unbelievable. Yes, we're also more injured now than you, but that doesn't change the fact that we are a better team than you.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying is that at this point in the season, we are the better team. Maybe not in the season as a whole, but at this point in the season, the Niners are a better team. Now, if your quarterback plays well again next week, then you guys are most definitely a better team than us.
But what I'm saying. Daniel, you agree to that if we win, not if we win, if we beat the spread, it's 6 points. If we beat the spread,
not necessarily beats the spread, but we'll look at the quarterback statistics.
If Jalen Hurts plays well, if he plays well, you will raise us ahead of you guys.
Then, yes, if he plays well, then
either way, if you guys lose, you raise us ahead of you.
If we lose to the Cowboys. And it's not like refs, because that's happened to both of our teams in this season multiple times.
If it's close enough where you're close enough to losing to the Cowboys, we deserve to be raised. Either way, and I'll make this deal with you is if the Eagles lose,
if your quarterback,
Niners win, and Nick Mullins throws 0 interceptions and Jalen Hurts throws at least 2.
At least 2. Okay, that's unrealistic. Despite that last part, at this point in the season, I think the Niners are the better team. Now, if Hurts plays well next game, then yes, I will raise you guys above us.
Now, I have the Lions between us. I initially had the Panthers ahead of you guys, but I think you guys are better than the Lions. However, I think the Lions are a better team than you. Matthew Stafford's a much better quarterback.
I'd agree with that, but I think that the way that the Lions have been playing, they lost to the Packers by, I'm not sure if it was more or the same as we did. I think it was, what?
7 points.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. But still, I think the Lions, I don't know. They're not.
I'm going to go over this again. So, quarterback position, we have a better quarterback than you guys.
If he plays well.
Yes, no, not if he plays well. Right now, we have a better quarterback than Nick Mullins.
If he's playing well,
not Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is not this season as much as it might.
But Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. All right, I'm going over position by position. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Nick Mullins. Running back.
I can agree with that, but he's played one game.
Miles Sanders is equal, possibly better than Raheem Mostert, but it could go either way. Tight end.
It depends on the game.
We have better tight ends than you.
That are healthy.
You do have better receivers than us. All right.
Defense. We have a better defense.
Line. We have more ravaged offensive line. So
defense. We have a much better defense all around.
Not necessarily. Yes, we have more injured safeties and cornerbacks.
But all around, our defense is much better. If you go to the defensive
line, we have the best defensive line in the league.
Aren't they all injured though? You said. Or like
most of them? That's a secondary. We had a few injuries, but they're going to be playing anyway. But we have the best defensive line in the league.
Is injured. No, I don't think you guys have the best
defensive line in the league. Daniel, I'm not the only person who thinks that. There's multiple other pundits and people who also agree with me.
We have the best defensive line. People that can be said for any team.
Pundits, Daniel.
What's a pundit? Sorry,
pundit. The people who are essentially make the bets on the game and they help from the line.
I think if they're all healthy.
Yeah, pundit. Yeah, I just Googled. Yeah, pundits are the people who are the experts in the field, essentially. So you have like Stephen A, for example, he's a pundit.
Very comparable. I've got to wrap this up, but very comparable on that. But the Niners are more injured, so I'll give you that. But all around, our defense, our defense is much better this season.
I disagree. Actually, I disagree. We have the best defensive line in the league. We are injured in the secondary, so I might give that to you guys. However, you guys,
I think
the bigger thing is you guys do not have a quarterback, and you guys are struggling.
But we need to see how Hurts plays next week, because so far what he's shown has been brilliant. But he's started one game.
Yeah, and then we go down the rest of the list. We're pretty comparable. Chargers, you have higher than me, I believe. Chargers are where I think they should be for a 4-9 team.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are. I don't know.
I have the Chargers right above. I have the Chargers right above the team they just beat.
Pretty much all of those, from the Niners, Texans, Chargers, Giants, Eagles, Lions, can all be switched.
I think
all of those are interchangeable.
I think the Eagles are better.
The Chargers. The only reason is because I think Niners, Texans, Chargers, Giants, Eagles, and Lions can all be switched on any given week based on last week.
I'm going this. I think that the Texans and the Chargers are both worse than the Giants and the Eagles.
I think it depends on any. Again, I'm saying this. Any given week, those like 6 Niners, Texans, Chargers, Giants, Eagles, and Lions can be rotated around and compared.
Yes, that's true. However, Texans, they should be a lot lower.
Yeah.
I personally have had the Texans very low the entire year. They've not been that good. Deshaun Watson is their only bright spot, especially since they have DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, they don't.
That's enough. Okay, but that's pretty much all. I think it's a settle.
Yeah,
Do you want to get into some news really quickly?
There's not much news. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think I can spell it. Antetokounmpo. But yeah, he's been re-signed by the Bucks. I'm surprised he didn't go and join the Lakers. Ignoring Cap, but Ruggs is on the COVID list. McCaffrey's not going to play versus the Packers. Winston could no, never mind. Ignore that. Smith will probably start versus Seahawks.
Breeze is back.
Bryant is off the COVID list, and McSorley, he got injured. Yeah, a lot of the news happened yesterday, and I have to scroll down a bit for it. But
the news, Eagles, what is that? No,
Justin Tucker with that game-winning field goal, and you do not have to bleep that out because nobody's gonna care really. But we're going back to
copyright striked on my personal.
You're not going to be copyright. You're not going to be copyright strike.
I have been on my personal channel when it had like 50 subs.
Yeah, but Daniel,
but
what I just had there, that was a bunch of blurred. That was a bunch of blurred figures.
That was still copyrighted. Trust me.
No,
Those big guys are like.
Technically, they can't because it's on the Score app. And it's highlighted, so technically they can't legally copy.
But yeah, if that's all the news, then that's pretty much going to be it. Should we wrap up?
See.
You don't have to take forever
so
to look for
thank you for watching the third episode of the Salty Sports Podcast.
We will see you guys next time.
So we're going to do our Pro Bowl picks.
Oh, yes, that'll be next week.
That'll see you next time on the Salty Sports Podcast.
Podcast.